Hey, what up ladies and gents, it's your favorite Asian robot right here, hopefully your favorite official content creator for the First Descendant, and today, what I'm going to walk you through is my Python build. Now, before we get into it, if you haven't already registered me as your content creator, please make sure you do so. The link is in the video description. Alright, the more supporters I have, the more I can do for you, okay? But, if you haven't decided yet, well, let's go through the content and then you can decide later, okay? Let's get into it. So, for the Python build, what we need to understand first is what can the Python do. Oh, and of course, as usual, excuse any coughing. Slow recovery, you know the usual spiel. All right. The Python is an ultimate submachine gun, all right, that has a very high rate of fire, and it's got a unique ability called the Python Instinct. Let's go through the base stats of the Python first. Now, where you see an increase, excuse me, an increased arrow like that, it means that I've got a particular roll on the Python that will increase that particular stat. In this case, it's firearm attack. All right, I've got a 10.9% roll, so it increases it from the base value of 9,800 to 10,914. Okay, weak point damage is the same. The Python actually has 2 times weak spot damage, so whenever you're hitting a weak spot, you're dealing double damage to the Python. Funnily enough, this thing has very, well, I guess I shouldn't say funnily enough. Probably as expected, this thing has very low crits. So building this around crits is probably not the wisest decision. You are probably only going to get around 15-20% crit rate, and it's going to consume a lot of module slots. So we built this in a very different way to sort of assist its strengths, i.e. weak spot damage. The firearm critical hit rate damage is 1.3 times, but you know, if you do crit, it's still a nice little bonus. Yeah, it's fairly accurate as well. Both hip fire and aim shot. It's actually got aim shot accuracy of 85.55. So it's actually really quite accurate in terms of how this weapon fires, and you guys will get to see that during the demonstration. But the main thing that you need to understand is that the Python has a terrible damage drop-off. You get maximum damage at anything closer than 23 meters, but at anything further than 43 meters, you literally, okay, will only be dealing 30% of your regular damage, so take note of that. The Python is not a ranged weapon. It's accurate, but you should not be using it at long range. All right, so try to maintain your range when you're fighting the Colossi or the boss or whatever else. Mag dump into its weak spot, and this is what the Python is designed for, okay? Movement speed is fairly high for this, and my 2 rolls, obviously not very good, but I happen to have electric attack on this, and bonus firearm attack versus Colossus, so this one is pretty important. All right, bonus firearm attack versus Colossus should be gold. Weak spot damage and firearm attack should be gold. The last stat doesn't matter. You can roll anything. I happen to roll electric attack, and I didn't want to re-roll for firearm attack, although having more firearm attack would have been a lot better for this build. Okay, now that you understand the base stats of the build, let's take a look at this unique ability. The unique ability of the Python is something called Python Instinct. Whenever you hit a weak point, it'll inflict the unique ability Prey onto the target, all right? At maximum level of upgrades, okay, so at the 4th level of upgrades for unique ability, Prey will last for 2 seconds. It can have up to 28 stacks, and you can reduce the non-attribute resistance and toxin resistance of your target by 3.6% per stack and minus 1.3% for toxin resistance per stack. So this is actually really, really good for non-attribute type characters, all right? The Prey does so much damage, it is quite insane, okay? Especially because you're completely stripping any non-attribute resistance they may have. So, now that you understand the unique ability, let's get into the build. For this one, gonna have to remove the cam. Okay, there it goes. Okay, so you might say, wait a second, this build isn't complete, there's still a slot there. Excuse me. The answer is yes, there is still a slot there because you can jam whatever you want into that slot and it will not matter. It will not matter in the slightest. You could just throw in vibration absorption, it'll be fine. But the main parts of the build are as follows. Rifling reinforcement needs to be maxed. Action and reaction needs to be maxed. Both of these combined together will practically double your firearm attack. In fact, you get 94% firearm attack from both of these. So that means you're dealing 194% of your baseline damage, which is really good. Next, you also want fire rate up. You might be thinking, hold up, the Python already has such a high fire rate. Why do I need fire rate up? Because if you don't have fire rate up, all right, when you use firing Fiesta, which is amazing with this thing, okay, you will not deal as much damage. Firing Fiesta gives you 3 seconds of no ammo consumption every 15 seconds whenever you reload. This is pretty insane because you've got 3 seconds of mag dumping, so you want your fire rate up as high as possible. Okay? Weak point sight is a must. It gives you an extra 35% weak point damage, and you're also going to need half aiming. Half aiming gives you another 40% weak spot damage, but reduces your accuracy by 20%. This is where you put in Deadeye. Deadeye gives you back 30% of your accuracy and a plus 1% to your firearm attack, which is the basis from which all your other weak spot damage is multiplied. So this is the choice that I made. All right. Then after that, you've got Expand Weapon Charge. This is actually for use with specific characters. Okay. If you find that you do not need Expand Weapon Charge, you can shove in any other cerulean socket item. Like you can go with this one, Consume Magazines, giving you more weak spot damage, multiplier, all that kind of stuff. You can just shove that in and you will be good to go. All right. So just so you know, with that, it'll give you some extra weak spot damage and off you go. But why do we use Expand Magazine Charge? It's mostly for Freyna's ult. So if you were to use the Python with Freyna's ult, you'd be able to get more shots in her ultimate weapon, in her unique weapon, sorry. All right. Then after that, that's it. This is actually the core of the build. Then you can adjust it as necessary. Expand Weapon Charge is also pretty useful in the field, but if you really want to squeeze in a little more damage, you can. Okay, you can. You can go with like Consume Magazines or whatever else you want. Then you've got one free slot and one slot that I usually use here. This slot here is actually for your element. So when you put on the enhancement, you want it maximized. All right, but you can't really put on a slot to get this element maximized because, quite frankly, each of these are different. Chill is cerulean, fire is almandine, malachite is toxic, I think. Oh no, sorry, toxic is rutile, xantic is electric. So because of that, you can't really put in a socket to reduce the enhancement, but you're going to need that because you want 30% of your firearm attack to be of the element that's going to counter your enemy. All right. So this is basically the Python's build. And like I said, you've got a free slot here. You can chuck in whatever you want. There's no right and wrong answer. If you really, really wanted to, you could, because with this, right, you've got a weak point damage multiplier of 3.5. So if you look at like stabilizers, just as an example, right, there's concentration, sorry, insight, stance, and there should be one more that's stabilizer, unless I don't have it. Hang on. Oh, fixed shot. Okay, this one gives a weak spot damage of plus 2%. But if you were to buff up the base damage instead, it would be multiplied by the whole weak spot. So usually we'll use a stabilizer of some kind if you really, really want to. So we'll chuck that in, and there you go. There's your completed Python build right there. But I'm sure you guys don't want me to just talk about it. Let's go actually use it in the field. So what we'll do for a field test is we're going to only use the Python for the most part to fight a hard mode Dead Bride. And we'll just demonstrate what the Python can do. So let's go in and showcase this. Private Intercept, we're not going to use any skills in this, and the other weapon, which is going to be Greg's Reverse Fate, is only going to be used for the accuracy when the Dead Bride uses her Enraged mode. When she's in Frenzy and I have to break the tubes, that's the only time that I'll pull out the Gregs, or for killing the minions. Because the main damage of this is going to be done with the Python. Realistically speaking, you're not supposed to just use one gun and kill the entire enemy unless you're Gley or Valby, but I figured that this kind of demonstration would show you what the Python can do. Okay, let's go. Well, Epic is only level 15, but he'll be fine. Okay, here comes the Dead Bride. Okay, so what you usually want to do with the Python is, whatever the target chooses to do, you want to get around to a weak spot. Alright? Once you reload, you want to mag dump with no questions asked, alright? You start mag dumping and aiming for a weak spot, because you're going to dish out a lot of damage in that time. Okay, her leg ankles are broken. Her calf armor is broken. I like to fly around a little bit. Alright, try to wait the 15 seconds if you can. Reload, and then go ham. Like I said, you can aim down sights and deal a lot of damage to the target. Alright, while you're mag dumping. So this is why I like the Python a lot. It gives you a lot of opportunities to really mag dump and deal a lot of damage to the target. But as you can see, ammo is a bit of a concern, so we're gonna have to kill these minions now and hope one of them drops some ammo. If they don't, we'll have to literally go back to the starting area. Oh, whoa, whoa. Well, this isn't very good. Might actually die there. I blame my own carelessness. Aw, man. She beat me. I thought I could dodge that. But hey, now I got ammo. So that's what I get for being careless. But anyway. Sorry about that. Now that I've properly escaped, what I'll usually do is, like I said, you won't use the Python for this kind of thing. Make sure you have another weapon to do all your dirty work. Alright? Especially when it comes to breaking stuff like this. Alright, we won't let that happen again. There we go. Tube's broken. No issue. Now you can use the Python again. But again, at this range, right, it's not very effective. So what you want to do is just keep it back. Let the boss's stuff clear. And then you can use the Python. Alright, make sure to keep your receive scan up. As you should know for most of these boss fights. Okay, great. So, back at it again. Once you get the chance, reload your Python and just go ham. Alright, it's okay if you're hip firing. You can always ADS later. But you want to just channel to all attacks to a weak spot. Because that's what's going to help you deal the damage. Alright? If you can even just like wait the 15 seconds. Then reload your gun. And then you get your full 3 seconds of mag dumping. Alright? This is one of the ways to control and use the Python well. Alright? Okay, now she's in Angie mode. So we're not going to repeat the mistakes of the past. Alright, while she's Angie, you just wanna roll. Alright. Pick up the general ammo. And let her follow you. Try to lure her to the center if you can. But usually what I'll do is I'll try and break her tubes. That sounds so wrong. But I'll try and break her tubes while moving toward the center. Okay, tube broken. That's nice. That breaks the ice a little bit. Okay, there we are. Now she goes up high. That's your chance. That's your chance. Mag dump, mag dump, mag dump. Alright, you want to mag dump. Alright, don't be giving her a chance. This is why I love the Python. It's such a nice mag dumping weapon. Oops. Oh, I had the unlimited ammo, but I wasted it. There we go. Still dead. So there you go. The Python is a highly effective weapon. Of course, it's not a weapon that's supposed to that's designed to like instantly beat every single boss. That's not how it works, but at the very least, you can deal a significant amount of damage to them and take advantage of the high fire rate, firing fiesta, and all that. I don't feel like opening any Morphus. Okay, that's it. That's the Python build. So for those of you that have not yet experienced the Python build, you know, or you want to experience the Python, it's a fairly straightforward weapon to build, and it's very useful because you can put any element on it and dish out good damage to whatever your target is. All right. So please enjoy yourselves. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. All right, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to support the channel if you can. And of course, thank you to our top tier channel members. And of course, our top tier supporters for this month in August. Unfortunately, I'm having a bit of background difficulty, so I'm unable to put up the image as I normally would. But you know who you are. If you want to get in the list, send me some love on stream. All right? Register me as your content creator, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye!